going on? So, yeah, welcome to Late Night with Lance. This won't be a massively long stream because I have still got a bit of a chesty cough and I'm trying to rest up for the weekend. So, priorities and all that. Because guess what I'm doing on the weekend? I'm going raving again. Yes. So I've got to rest up for that a little bit. Basically, dancing for me is like going to the gym at the minute. I don't have a lot of time to go to the gym. I certainly couldn't afford to go clubbing and go to the gym. So if I'm going to do one, I'm just going to do that. So, anyway, 7 people watching. Thanks for tuning in. Let's have a look at the comments. And I've also got a buddy. Buddy's coming. Gooch.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
You look like you weren't ready then. Do you want me to take you out?
Yeah, I was just doing something quickly.
Check. Hang on, there. He's not ready yet. We'll just take him out for a second. Let me see who's in the chat here. We got Keith, Drew Gordon. Hey Lance, did you ever see the Shaman at the market? Oh, you think you mean the Shaman at the Marcus Garvey in the Nottingham back in the day? I did not, but I heard about it. It was on when I was actually living in Nottingham. They did Ebenezer Good. Yeah, etc. He's a good. Yeah. I remember that. Hello.
What's up, there, Lance?
How's it going, bud?
Caught me off guard.
I just had an unexpected crash on open bar just now as well, which is nice.
So I popped in for a little bit and saw you were on there. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, I have only seen the first episode, but I'm a lot of people don't like the June Prophecy show. So far, yeah. I like it. I like it so far. I like it. I'm not.
I've been told it's worse than Acolyte, so I'm kind of
no. That's utter bollocks. First of all, I mean, let's just put the script to one side, whether you like the script or not. Everything else about the show, costumes, the look, production design, visual effects, the cast, the acting are all first rate. So you may or may not like the story and the script, but I'd take great issue with anyone who says, it's worse than the Acolyte. I mean, first of all, that's a really high bar. That's a really high bar to be worse than the Acolyte. You're asking for a lot for a show there. But no, it's not worse than the Acolyte. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it is a talking heads piece. It's a political talking heads piece. I think there will be a fair bit of action as we get further into it, but
I'll give the first episode a try and
give it a go.
I'll give it a go. But if I get a whiff of the the stink that we've been getting, I'll just kind of bounce out. Be
your own man, Gooch. Make up your own mind. Don't
I will make up my own mind. From the trailer, right away I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna.
Have you seen the whole season trailer, or have you just seen the?
I saw the one from I think I want to say from last month, maybe a month and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm leery. I was like right away red flags. So I was just like, yeah, I don't know if I can stomach through this. I'm tired of being, talked down to by women, and that's where I just kind of like, okay.
But this is in the context of them being the Bene Gesserit, and it's all done very, very much. It's very June. So it depends. So just wait a few weeks. Gooch, take it from me. The first episode made me feel incredibly excited, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. Sorry, I haven't put my glasses on yet. I'm not sure if I'm reading that correctly. I've got a new guest who's popping onto the channel for the first time. Drum roll, please. It's the Proctor File. I hope I read that right, and it's not saying anything else. Is this an accurate depiction of what you look like? They sound like they're in the shower. Maybe they're not ready to come on yet. Okay, we'll take them out. All right. Well, that's the Proctor File's guest appearance. They may currently be washing their hair. I'll bring them back in a sec. But they did some very nice comments on Twitter. Did you see
your book? Yes.
Well, we are going to talk about the book because I've just finished it. No.
Yeah.
Did you see my interview with Cindy Pickett, who plays Ferris Bueller's mother, among many other things that she's done?
She was on your channel?
Yeah, last night.
Oh no, I totally missed it. My apologies. I usually try to catch up on your interviews.
So I mean, first of all, it was an incredible interview. She's an incredible human being. Still looks. I mean, I'm not going to say her age on a live show because that'd be very impolite. But you can look it up. You know, it's on Wikipedia and all that. When you consider her age, I mean, she looks amazing. She looks amazing. So Keith, here, Cindy was the first time I actually cried while watching your show. Well, yeah, and I don't know if I can get the exact time code. We were kind of getting towards the end of wrapping things up, and I just thought, I'm going to ask a couple of other questions that I hadn't scheduled. And I just said, what's the most challenging thing you've ever been through in your life? Which is not normally a question I ask guests. And she came back with this answer. This is us on the interview here. And she had to give up a son for adoption when she was young.
Oh, damn.
And I'm not sure that she'd ever spoken about that publicly before. Certainly not in this kind of forum. And I'm adopted. So that got me right in the feels. And we were I just want to know the time code for this. Keith, I don't know if you can give me the time code for where that actually happened. But
wow.
We're both almost in tears. And when we came off the stream, we stayed talking to each other for about another 20-25 minutes or so. And she was ever so kind and really just the loveliest human being, and also just said, look, Lance, you're a friend of mine now, so you call me anytime. And that was lovely, but yeah, I mean, it was a really an hour 18. Was it an hour 18? I've got an hour 28 up at the moment. Was it that early? I didn't think it was as early as that. An hour 18. Should we have a quick listen?
Abducted by a pedophile.
Oh my God!
Yeah. And
what a line.
Years later, he escapes because the pedophile who had said your parents.
Right, that's her talking about playing the mother in the film I Know My Name is Stephen. So that's which is a great. If you remember that TV drama, it's a great movie. And then she talked about how the two children that survived, they had one of them, the actual real Stephen guy, he bought a motorbike with the money compensation that he got, and then a few years later he was killed in an RTA on the bike. And then his older brother, who didn't get any of the attention and everything, he ended up being a murderer. And when they asked him why he'd done it, he said, because when my brother got kidnapped and when he returned, nobody paid any attention to me. Now, Proctophile, are you ready to come on? If you are in the private chat, drop me a message. Not sure if the mic's going to improve. Let's see. Hello, can you hear me? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Proctophile, say something. Okay, we can't hear you at the present time. Yeah, but she was talking about that. And I can hear a dog.
Yeah, it's my pup.
Oh, is that yours? Okay.
Yeah, it's my pup. Yeah,
I don't think the Proctophile's mic is working. Shout me again, man, when you're ready to come in, and we'll test it again. But yeah, so anyway, we went from that into this other topic, and yeah, it's one of the most emotional moments on my channel ever, and you proper hear my voice go, and the two of us were really. It was a. I said it on the channel. I said, this is a moment of real human connection right here, which is a line I got from you, which I've used constantly since.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, she was an amazing guest. By the way, if anyone wants to see this interview, I will drop the link in the chat for you guys now.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch this because it's funny because it's not funny, but it's We had we were reviewing Primal, Tartakovsky's Primal. I think you bounced in there for a couple of minutes, and
on the chat.
There was a lot of emotions going through that night, and there was a scene in the second and episode number 8 that we were leading up to about a mother, and like she's a witch, part of this like coven, and she gets to see how the relationship between Spear and Fang, how these two that have come together, and it just becomes this heavy emotional story. And a couple people were crying, like Vex was emotional, and a couple other in the panel were emotional, and people in the chat were like, oh my god, this is like so heavy, but it's so beautiful. Like it's just like it's so powerful. So like when you have those moments where everyone gets to witness and be along for this journey, storytelling or actual life experience, it's one of those beautiful moments that to me kind of saves humanity and just makes us all kind of like bond together closer.
Yeah, it's there's certainly going to be a few moments like that in my book.
Yeah,
which
you're good at that. Yeah, there was 1988. I felt my fist clench up, and I felt rage at a couple moments, just because the counselors, a couple of them were being a-holes, and thinking it was fun to put you in a situation. And I don't want to give too much away. Everyone should be reading that book, by the way. It's fantastic. It's still like top 5 books of all time in for reads for me.
Wow.
But yeah, you have that ability, Lance, to bring the emotion out with your words. So bravo to you. So
yeah, a few people have bought this book recently, because I can see I've sold a few. Hey, Kittle Bonkers, how you doing? That's an awesome name. Love it, Kitty Bonkers. Are you a YouTuber? If you are, you can pop on. Jacob's here. Proctor File, you managed to fix your
How
mic.
about now? Well,
yes.
Third time.
There we go.
Yes.
Third time's a charm. Mate, welcome to the channel. First time here. Very much appreciate you coming on, and I'm always happy to invite people. Kind of, if I do a late night with Lancey stream, it's very much a sort of open bar type situation. By that, I mean,
I greatly appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much for having me on. It's a genuine pleasure to have the opportunity to talk with you guys.
I appreciate that. Thanks, man. I'm a little bit wheezy tonight, but just to pick up on, this is the book that I wrote. It's not the last book that I wrote. I published a couple of my plays, but this is the novel that I wrote last year. And this is based on, well, it's not based on, it's an actual transcribing of my diary from that year. These are all photos from that year. There's me doing my lifeguard bit on the right, at Camp Northwood in upstate New York, Utica, which I think just shut its doors for the final time. And then in the bottom left-hand corner, that is me with my favorite camper, Jocelyn. And when I was writing this book, I thought, I wonder if I can find her. And she was just the sweetest kid you would ever meet. And she was actually older than me. She was 2 years older than me, but it was a camp for what you guys called in America back then LD, which was learning disabled, which was a very kind of broad term that applied to a lot of different kids with a lot of different things going on. Some of them were just ADHD. Some of them were sort of, they were 15 physically, but they were 8 mentally. And then we had others that had sort of very minor things, but they were still at this same camp, so it was a very eclectic group of kids. But she was my favorite kid, and I tracked her down. I had a Zoom call with her, and she's in her 50s now, and she just got out of an abusive relationship, and we were crying on this Zoom call. It was heartbreaking for me. She was such a sweet kid. It was, when you meet someone like that and you're young, you hope they get the princess fairy tale. You hope they meet that guy that just wants to look after them, and they have a happy family and the white picket fence and all that kind of thing.
Of course.
that was the one time I really wanted that to happen for somebody more than anybody, because she was just so kind. And then when I sort of connected with her, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's got her family around her and she's doing things. She's kind of involved in a local theatre called Spear. This is upstate New York. But I really wanted her to have that happy ending. And when I found that she hadn't got it, oh man! And I think I wrote about that in the book, because I think I was still finishing the book when that happened. Wasn't that in there as one of the sort of vignettes under one of the entries?
Yeah, it's one of it is like a favorite book of mine, and yeah, it's based on what I think over a 6-month period, maybe 7-month period.
No, it's the whole year.
Is it the whole year? I thought it was
because
it's 7 months.
No, because the original diary is.
Oh yes, you came home. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Because I always think of, like, at the end of summer you come home, and then that was the end. No. Yeah, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right.
This is the original diary right here with a slasher sticker on it.
Yeah,
nice.
You can see, look, there it is, 1988, and you can see, like, I wrote something on every page, and occasionally there's a day that's blank, and in the diary it says this day was blank. But look, most of them are like this.
Mm-hmm.
So wow. And all of that was basically transcribed directly into the book. You guys will love this. This was from your multiplex. I ripped it out of the newspaper and I kept it, and it's all from that time. Look at the films that were on. Look how many good films are in this list. Like The Blob, brilliant movie. Cocktail, I mean, not an amazing film, but still a good film. Die Hard, well, just one of the best films ever made. Roger Rabbit, one of the best films ever made. Big, one of the best films ever made. Midnight Run, one of the best films ever made. Bull Durham, depending on if you like, baseball and stories of men wearing women's underwear on the pitch. And then Coming to America, a lot of people love that movie. So, out of all those films, you've got maybe 2 average movies there for that particular summer. So
good times.
Yeah, what a contrast to the present day.
Yeah, we really dropped the ball.
Yeah, I agree with Enzo. Cocktail rules.
But
Elizabeth Shue in there, so yeah.
So the 1988 book is actually. I'm glad you brought it up, Gooch, because it was completely the inspiration for the new book, mm-hmm. which The Critical Drinker has done the forward for me. So you can see it says forward by The Critical Drinker. This is cool. The first cinema I ever went to as a kid. This big, massive Odeon. It seated about 1,500 people, and we went to see a re-release of Oliver the Musical in about 1975, and I was literally like 3 years old or something. And I remember I sat like on my dad's legs to watch the film, because the seat, I kept falling off the seat. So in the end, I ended up sitting on my dad. And Oliver Reed playing the character he played in the film, who just seemed like this horribly evil man, scared the living shit out of me. So what this basically is this is a journal of 101 plus films, and I think there's about 127 in the book altogether. And it's the story of when I first saw the film and who I was with, where I saw the movie, some stuff about what I thought of the film at the time, particularly if it had a significant impact on me in one way or another, particularly if it impacted my life going forward. So, for example, there's a big section on Star Wars, but it's also about, did that film steal time from my life? So, for example, if you went to see Wrath of Khan and you then became a massive Star Trek fan, and as a result of that, you went to Star Trek conventions and you went out and bought a uniform and you did this and you did that and you went to signings, as a result of going to see that one movie, that movie stole quite a lot of time from your life. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But so under the Wrath of Khan entry, you would have all of those little stories. So that's what this book is. It's, all the sort of films that I went to see between 1974 right up until present day, 2024. The second from last entry is Top Gun Maverick. And it's about how those films impacted me and the stories connected to them. So it's not a film criticism book, like a sort of film review book. I do review the films a little bit. I review some of them more extensively, but it's a very... I don't think anyone's ever written a book like this before. It's like, the first time I went to see a movie with my dad is in this book. The last time I ever saw a movie with my dad is in this book. The first time I went with my gran, the last time I went with my grandmother, the first movie I saw with my very first girlfriend, the first movie I saw with my wife, the last movie I saw with my wife before we got divorced. All of those stories are all in here. So that's what this book is.
Oh, wow.
I open the floor to questions.
Is Flash Gordon in this book?
I think it gets a mention, but I'm not sure, because I went to see it for my birthday in, I think it was 82, that was, wasn't it? And I think it does get a mention, but I don't know if it's one of the specific entries. This is the manuscript of the actual book. So this is what the page is. This is vellum software. So for any buddy writers out there, not the boreworms. Nice. Nice. Welcome to the channel, man. I'm not sure I've seen you in the chat before. And I haven't seen Kitty Bonker's Anti-Hero. I definitely would have remembered that name. If any other YouTubers are in the chat, let me know. If you've got a YouTube channel, I'll give it a quick plug for you. I don't care if you've got 10 subscribers or 10,000. If you've got a YouTube channel in the chat, let me know and I'll give you a shout out. So, yeah, so this is the 1984. So at the beginning of each section, there's like a whole load of blurb about, so it says, for example, there were two big movies in 1982 that I did not see at the cinema. One of them was Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, which I later saw on video, and E.T., which I would see on Pirate. There you go. There's a typo there. So look, see, I haven't done this, haven't proofread this chapter yet. And then I talk about some of those films. I talk about the time we went to see Star Trek the motion picture and my dad's car broke down and we got stuck on a roundabout, and the most dangerous roundabout on the planet. And then we go into the section of the films that are in this section. So Bridge Too Far is the first one, which I first saw in 1980 when it was on TV. So some of the films are films I saw. Here you go, Flash Gordon's here. Stand by my Hawkman. It's there. 26.
I knew it'd be there for some reason.
Well, I went to see it for my birthday, but I couldn't remember if it was an entry. Sorry, this section of the book seems like I wrote this like 6 months ago, because I probably did. But yeah, Flash Gordon is in there. So you got Flash Gordon, you got the Seawolves, which I went to see with my grandmother. Superman, the first one, and I talk about Superman 2 in that section. Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Silver Streak. I don't know if you guys remember that film with Gene Hackman and not Gene Hackman, Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Of course. Oh, yeah, that's great. That's great.
Conan the Barbarian. So there's a quote from every movie above the section on that movie, but I've tried to pick quotes from the movie that are not only from the film but mean something to me or say something about me. So every quote that there is in the book has got a double meaning. So The Sword and the Sorcerer you got there, because Albert Poon, the director of that, was a good friend of mine. Then I did a double bill of 48 Hours and Under Fire, two Nick Nolte films at a cinema in Denmark with my dad. So there's this whole section on that, and I wasn't old enough to get in to see those movies, but we kind of bullshitted that. So when I saw Return of the Jedi, Footloose, got The Last Starfighter. What a great film that is. Nightmare on Elm Street 4. So Nightmare on Elm Street was so for example, this is one of the first 18 or X certificate movies that I blagged into. I lied and got in to see. So the sort of stuff you'll get is like the story of how we blagged our way into Nightmare on Elm Street, rather than, no one needs to read a review about Nightmare on Elm Street from me. There's better reviewers. There was a double bill of Revenge of the Nerds and Bachelor Party, and that was like the first time I'd seen like boobs in a film, So obviously that's a landmark historical moment, so that needs to go in the book. Of course. We saw The Terminator and Dune on the same day. So that's a double bill entry. It wasn't a double bill feature, but we saw we wanted to see them both on the biggest screens we could, so we had to go to 2 different cinemas on the same day. And that's also the story of how I got to see the wrong version of Dune, because the cinema got sent the wrong print. They got sent the working extended cut. It was fucking great. So I got to see like a 2-hour, 50-minute version of Dune at the cinema in 1984 when no one else ever saw that version.
Cool.
Similar to the Spice Diver edit that's on YouTube. It's got most of those scenes. It had most of those scenes in it, and it had some other scenes I've never seen since. And then we got a section on Ghostbusters. And then there's a bit at the end that kind of wraps up that section. So that's a typical chapter in the book, basically. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, 127 odd movies I think there are in total, something like that, and lots of fun and quite moving stories. Yeah, I mean, there was writing the last 2 chapters was really tough, man, because I wasn't sure how to end it, and there were a couple of films to choose from, and I was originally going to end it with Top Gun Maverick, and then I remembered I'd been to this friend's movie screening, an industry screening, and something really moving happened at that screening. So I wrote the story about that. I thought that actually, I think people will relate to this. And I sent it up to Drinker and I said, can you read the ending? I've changed it. What do you think? And he was like, oh, I was almost in tears. Go with that. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So Drew Gordon is saying, plug me. Yeah, can you send me the link or something, and I'll put it up. If you or tell Keith what the link is, and then Keith can put it up. Yeah. So Aaron is close to putting a channel together. Be prepared for a vortex of your life to be sucked away from you. Blair to Blair.
Not lying there.
Yeah. So yeah, Proctophile, your first time on the channel, man. Tell us a bit more about you, and you've got a channel as well, or anything you want to plug. In fact, whatever that may be.
All right. Well, for the past 15 plus years or so, I have been just an independent artist, primarily painting, like abstract art, and steadily kind of built a reputation up in Seattle. And a couple years ago, actually got some of my work mass produced by one of my favorite YouTube channels, The Modern Rogue.
All right.
And yeah, that was an incredible accomplishment. And since then, or most recently, a friend and I, who used to be a Hollywood creative, decided we would put together our own podcast called Mixed Media. And every other Sunday or so, we like to talk about all the cool art stuff that we know about and learn about the stuff we don't know from the people that do.
Where would we find the Mixed Media podcast? Where is that?
You can find us live on my buddy Flex's Twitch channel, which is just going to be twitch.tv/FlexAnya. Or you can find us here on YouTube at the Mixed Media Podcast.
Okay.
I'll give you a link here in a sec.
No, I've got it. I've got it. We got something's playing somewhere. I think that's yours. There we go. We'll just pause that. Very dramatic. The official case against Alec Baldwin. Okay, that's interesting. I had a friend who worked on that movie, by the way. And this is the Modern Rogue channel.
Yeah. Are you sure you got the correct one? Because at the moment we only have the one interview up on.
Is this not you? So this isn't the Mixed Media podcast, no?
It's mixed present tense, not past.
Okay, all right. Hold on.
I'll send you.
We just plug somebody else's channel. They've only got 91. They've only got 91 subscribers. I'm all about supporting people here. Send me the link in the private chat, and
will do.
I'll whack it up. But was that the correct channel for the Modern Rogue? Was that right?
Let's see.
You said the Modern Rogue was somebody who supported you, a bit like the way Drinkers supported me. And his channel's pretty big. He's got 1.6 million, 68 million.
Yeah,
this guy.
So it's a very great guy.
Ryan Brushwood.
Correct.
Yeah, cool. Okay, check out the Modern Rogue channel as well. And let's have a look at this one. Okay. Well, okay.
This was just a casual interview that we did with a friend of ours called Office Drummer.
You guys have literally just started. You've only got 13 subscribers. You've got 14 now. I've just done a sub for you.
Well, thank you very much. My co-host is currently working on the editing. We've done a number of other interviews, and they are much higher quality than the first ones.
Okay. So this pimp interview, that's not the correct one.
No.
Hang on a minute.
I have no idea what that is.
Well, funnily enough, I did want to talk about this channel, so let me get the link up for it, because that's one of the things I was going to chat about tonight, which is this. I just found this channel the other day.
Okay.
The Soft White Underbelly. This guy's got 6 million subscribers. He
Okay.
basically interviews people that are the underbelly of society. So he interviews people that work on the street, strippers, pimps, drug addicts. He interviews people that have been in foster care. And these interviews, by the way, they are amazing. They're gut-wrenching. And I watched a couple of them, and they're quite addictive. You know, you watch a couple and you're like, oh my God. But you can only watch so many. I watched like 5 or 6, and I was a quivering wreck, because every story is like heartbreaking. And some of them you just, I wish I could give this person a hug, you know. Gooch, I know you got to go.
Yeah, I got a couple things I got to do before my stream tonight. And
what time's your stream on?
It'll be 10 o'clock Eastern on my channel, Diabolical Souls Presents. We're doing Arcane Season 2, Episode 2. We got quite the panel, and
yeah, it's good. Arcane is where it's at, man.
Yeah, look forward to seeing everyone there. Again, just grinding away, getting close to 20,000 subscribers. I think I'm like,
yeah. Oh, and I probably should mention you're also hosting the American section of my book launch on your channel.
Yes,
which is very kind of you.
December 1st.
December 1st.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
2 weeks from now.
I'm gonna be staying up late into the wee hours.
Yeah.
To be on Diabolical Souls channel. I guess we'll talk about the book in more detail then, but I've given you a bit of a preface tonight, so tonight's your research stream in a way. And we'll get on to that, so that'd be great.
Yeah. But I always like to pop on your channel, say a quick hello, and just say hello. But yeah, anyway, I gotta bounce.
Always welcome, buddy.
Always. The door's always open for you too, bro. So everyone take care, stay Gucci, and we'll see you soon.
You take care, man.
We'll see you, Jacob. Nice talking with you, Jacob.
We'll stay.
Sorry, much.
I know one of my buddies, Toxic, has got a book out as well. Tox, I just made it possible for you to put a link in the chat, so why don't you chuck that link in, and I'll give it a plug in a sec. Okay, so I've got the right thing here now. Let me this is the Mixed Media Podcast, and you guys are just starting out with this. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, we've been doing it for a few months. At the moment, we only have the one video up, but so far I've been able to pull together some incredible interviews. Like just a couple of weeks ago, we had Candy Milo, the voice actor's son. If anybody in chat's not familiar, she used to be Dexter from Dexter's Lab way back in the day.
Okay.
And she was a fantastic guest, and we had an absolute blast.
Do you know that the best guests, I mean, don't get me wrong, Gail Ann Hurd was amazing. If you haven't seen the interview, do check it out. One of the most powerful producers in Hollywood, and more talented than a certain other female producer, I would argue quite strongly. But the best guests are often the people that have had sort of slightly less high profile careers, but have constantly stayed working. And I've had several people that fall into that category. I mean, everybody knows Cindy Pickett from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and she did do a number of other very high profile projects, including America, spelt with a K, with Chris Christopherson. But most people won't have seen the work that she's done in the last 10 years. But she was an amazing guest. Oh my God, just incredible guest. And I imagine the lady you're talking about sort of falls into a similar category, and that they've always got great stories as well, these people.
Well, I say we didn't quite get to that personal level of conversation that you did. And again, like as you saw on Twitter, I was not prepared for that.
Yeah, it was.
Like, I was just,
neither was I, and I was on the stream.
Like I was just at work, doing my thing, and all of a sudden I just get blasted in the upper soul region, and now I have to carry on.
Yeah, it was.
It's an interesting day.
It was. I mean, that interview took a turn that I wasn't ready for, and you could, because I'm adopted, so anything around that topic always is quite a sensitive issue for me.
Of course.
Wow, whacked me right in the ghoulies, and I'm not sure to what degree Cindy had spoken about that topic openly before. I know she has done some other interviews, but I haven't found one where she talked about that. I mean, this is the link for Toxic's book for those people who are interested in reading. He's also got a book out, so
cool.
I'll pop it up in a second. And welcome to Penzo, my regular host from Tuesday night.
Gentlemen, how's it going?
How are you doing, sir?
Currently packing up my car, getting ready to hit the road back home, and just still got to take my laptop apart. And I figured I'd pop in and say what's up before I did.
So for those people that don't know, as well as being my regular co-host on various things, particularly the Nielsen rating, Stupenzo is also a very accomplished graphic designer, and he is the guy who did this cover. So this cover is
at your direction. I literally did everything you told me to.
Yeah, but I mean, you do what when you're doing a design for a client. The worst kind of client is, well, I don't really know what I want, but just come up with something that's a bit like this. And,
now, the worst kind of clients are like, hey, let's try like this. And I make what they want, and they don't like what they want, what they have. And then I say, they say, well, let's try this instead. And then I'm like, okay, that's also going to look bad. And then I make that. And then they're like, let's try this color. Or can we try this? It's like, how about let me do it? How about just let the professional handle it? If you don't know what you're expecting or what you're wanting, that's fine.
Yeah.
But just tell me that, and I will accommodate you.
Yeah, well, this only went through a couple of changes, I think.
No, Lance, you're chill, man. I've had people that want tons of revisions, and those are the nitpickers. Those are the ones that I can't stand, especially when they don't have a graphic design background. They're like, let's try this font. I'm like, well, that font is Bleeding Cowboys, and it's terrible. No, I'm just kidding. Never had anyone request Bleeding Cowboys font yet, but yep.
One of the things that Stupenzo did is this particular picture of the Odeon. Was not showing Oliver.
And that was easy.
Yeah, he stripped out the
blow up the contrast and make the marquee nice and white, and then take a paintbrush, brush out the text that's there, and then take some text, slap it in there, then align it properly, then add a little blur. That's what really makes it look, better.
Yeah.
When you blur it a little bit. There you go.
Yeah. Like the old photographs. And yeah, you did a bang on job. It's such a shame that when I went to this cinema, literally within the year, this cinema was gone. And it was an epic venue. I mean, it was huge. It was as big as one of the West End cinemas in Leicester Square, where they have all the film premieres. I talk about them in the book quite a lot. I went to the June premiere. I talk about that in the book. This cinema was great, and now it's a supermarket. So
what a waste.
Yeah.
Is it a good supermarket at least?
I don't know. I haven't shopped there because I don't live in that area anymore.
You should shop there and tell all the employees there, I used to go to the movies here.
Well, funnily enough,
I was going to say you should rob it at least once a week.
Oh my God.
Funnily enough, one of the things I plan on doing is I'm going to take a copy of the book down to the place, and I'm going to give it to the store manager and say, here you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, have them sell copies of the book in a little spindle or something.
That's actually not a bad idea if I could persuade
Learn
them.
the history of what this grocery store used to be.
Yeah, I mean it's I'm actually gonna see if I can go on Google Earth and I can show you guys what it looks like now.
Dude, you know what it reminds me of? Remember about Schmidt when he goes to visit his childhood home and finds out it's a tire store?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like looking out the front door, and he's like, the guy's like, "Can I help you, sir?" And he's like, "No, I used to live here before you were born in a little house. And he's like, that's nice. He's like, I'm just going to stand here and soak it in. And he's like, cool. And then he's looking out the front door and he's like, you're not going to believe this, but we used to have a tire swing out front.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Well, Lance, sadly, I have to go.
Oh, Jacob, you've barely spoken.
Jacob.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I always enjoy coming on your show and just I didn't get a chance to say anything this time.
Chilling in the corner.
But
Dude,
congratulations on your
thank
book.
you, man. Do you want to plug anything? Do you want to plug or
that.
promote anything before you go? Is there anything you want to give a shout out to?
Well, my show Tuesdays, Fort Apache, old Western movie.
Oh, I thought for a second you were going to say you were
what I
doing Fort Apache, the Bronx. But yeah, Fort Apache, the old Western. You're doing that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So before you go, here is the cinema in question. There it is. It's now Waitrose. So if I turn around, you can see the original sort of side buildings are still the same. And then they basically gutted this whole thing out. Yeah. Wow. And that's the cinema as it exists today. Very sadly.
Weird.
I know it's kind of strange. There's the Surbiton clock tower, but Jacob, all right, thanks, buddy. You're always welcome on. And
make sure you guys subscribe to Jacob. He's less than 100 away from 500, right?
Yeah, how many are you? Do you want to put your link for your channel in, and I'll just whack it up real quick,
or I'll do it.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
I'll put it up there, Jacob. Don't worry.
It depends. I'll do it for you. All right, buddy. Listen, thanks a lot for coming on, man, and I'll see you again soon.
Congratulations on your book. Congratulations on your book. I'm going to check it out. It looks cool.
I'll have the link out. It will be ready for sale by December 1st latest. And what I really want people to do is when they pick up a copy is if they're up for going on camera, send me a picture of them holding it, and in your case, a picture of it next to a Roman sword or helmet or something. But that'll work. Yeah, the more pictures I get from people of them holding the book on a coffee table or something like that, I can use all of that on social media. I just have a feeling this one is going to really land with people because everybody remembers the first movie they saw with their parents, So
I certainly do.
Yeah. So it's all that kind of stuff. All right, thanks, man. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, man. Y'all take care. Later.
Later.
Let me just have a quick look in the chat here. I think that's a comment about the books. That's very Arashi. How do I say that name?
Arashi Sengoku.
Arashi Sengoku. That sounds like a ninja.
Pretty close.
So yeah, pretty well. I mean, don't know that goes.
So you think all Japanese people are ninjas, huh?
No,
I know this person personally.
It's like a cool name from
let's
a
talk
movie.
Let's talk about the Proctophiles name for a second. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah,
it means I'm just an unabashed ass man.
Okay.
What more can I say?
Okay. Like proctologist. Okay.
Indeed.
Okay, all right.
I like the booty is my only weekness.
You cannot lie.
Dude, I'm all about
all day long, buddy.
Yeah. Same. So my ex-partner, African, climbed the mountain. It was all it's good.
Enough said.
Good time.
Enough said indeed.
Greg Moss, congratulations, Lance. Must be a good feeling. Yeah, it is. I mean, I've still got reading through and editing and proofing. It's, by the way, the book is currently 370 pages, so it's a beast. Yeah, it's a beast. So when you think there's 129 movies, every one of those movies, or 27, how many has got a story. There's a section at the beginning of each chapter. So it's I wish my old house was Waitrose. You don't, man. You don't. Basic cinema ticket shouldn't be more than $5. Tarantino's right. I agree.
Mine's $6 in my theater, which is really cheap. But no reserved seats, no stupid recliner chairs. It's like one of those. It's like the coach airplane, like it's just a crappy movie theater with 4 screens and $6 tickets, and you get here early if you want good seats. That's
Darth Darth is saying let's talk sequel. Well, my
To the
next book, I already know what my next book is. My next book is called Back to Raving at 50. That's what it is, and it's going to be very similar. It's a journal from 2023 and 2024, and it's a journal of all the different clubbing events I went to. So that's what that book's going to be.
Is that going to have more of a personal focus? Since, if I recall correctly, you got back into raving for the mental health.
Yeah, I was
benefits?
sort of coming out of my divorce, and I mean the whole YouTube thing has been part of that as well, actually. And YouTube gets a fair mention in Silver Screen Journeys, actually. Yeah, you just sort of. I think a big part of it for me is what's the biggest benefit. It's a bit like YouTube. It's like YouTube's a community. I've met lots of people in that community. I've met some of them in person, actually. And, I have my friends on YouTube who are my friends online. And just by virtue of geography, we may never meet. And then I also have friends like Drinker who I've met 7 or 8 times actually in person as well. We've hung out, had some really good times hanging out. And,
Nice.
But who I also met via YouTube. So with the raving thing, I met a whole load of people through this Facebook group called Old School Solo Ravers, basically. And it really was it was started by somebody coming out of lockdown, and that whole scene had been completely decimated, and no one. It took a while for like kind of events and things to start up. So so I started meeting people sort of through that, and then you go to a few events, and there's these kind of pre-meets where everyone socializes. Next thing you know, like 20 people to say hello to, and the next thing you know, it's 40 people, and now I've got like a regular group of people that I go dancing with, and for me, like dancing has been like massive therapy because I used to dance a lot anyway, and my mother was a choreographer, my father was an accountant, so I was never gonna. And my father was a graphic designer like Enzo, so I was never going to become an accountant. Creative sort of stuff was always in my blood. And one of the things I used to do when I was younger was I used to dance at this one particular club, and I'd do like routines and shit, and my mum would help me with them. So I've been going back, and I've basically been going back and doing those again. And it's good for your confidence. It's good exercise. And and plus, I get to sort of like hang out on the dance floor with people like this. So that's always nice. So I've met lots of really lovely people, and some of them like me are kind of still trying to figure out where they're at. And there's other people these are people I met at an event last Saturday. Love that fan. That's the fan. That's the fan the girl has on the dance floor to like keep creeps away.
Yeah. Smart move.
Didn't stop you though, did it? I'm just joking.
I pole vaulted. I pole vaulted over that. Got a picture and a phone number. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But and it's. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm kind of in my 50s. I've been on dating apps. I'm not. They're all full of scammers, and can't use those anymore. They're full of fake AI profiles and scammers, and I just didn't really get very far with that. So I thought, I need a social outlet where I'm actually going to meet people. Yes, the JFK stream is happening tomorrow. We've rearranged it again because I was going out tomorrow night on a date, and that date got cancelled. So, but
her loss.
Well, hey, these things happen. Greg Moss, are you a fan of drum and bass? I can dance to it. I prefer dance, trance, and house music, but I can go to an event, but it wouldn't be like I would put the other 3 first to answer that question. So I've even got somebody. I went to 2 events right back to back on last weekend, and I danced for 10 hours on the Saturday, And on the Sunday, I thought, there's no way I'm going to get up and I'm going to be able to go to this event. Anyway, I did get up because loads of people were messaging me, "Are you coming? Are you coming?" And what was great was they had a stage and I could get up on the stage. And so even though I was really knackered and dancing quite slowly, as soon as I could get up on that stage, I was doing this. That's me dancing slow when I was tired. There you go. So there you go.
Good stuff.
Video evidence. Video evidence. Me, yeah. And I used to do that on the podium like back in the 90s. So I was straight up there. It's good. It's good. You know, it's good for your confidence, good for mental health, good for social activity, good for everything. So Gareth, who's in the chat right now, he was at the event on Saturday. Lovely guy. Actually, he in order to make sure he could stay at the event late, because normally his train is back at 10, I let him stay around my house. So Gareth came and crashed with me, and yeah, we had a really good laugh as well. Yeah, and he did. We were both dancing for the same to all the same tunes, so we both must have done about 73,000 steps. I've got a great picture of Gareth here actually, because we went to a Halloween themed rave the other week, and he dressed up as Pennywise. So there he is. That's Gareth. And you can see me. I'm right behind him with my arms in the air. So, and this was that's Chris Bain, who's quite a well-known DJ. He's coming on the channel for an interview, actually. Chris Bain is, and so is Adele. In fact, the next interview I'm doing on Tuesday is Adele, whose event this was. It was her event. And she's like a trance DJ, and she's playing on Saturday as well. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, award-winning playwright and professional dance teacher. I'm not a dance teacher. My mum did that, but I can dance. And yeah, so
dude, Lance can dance. There's the title of your new book.
Well, Lance dancing at 50. Wait till you see my Christmas outfit. Are you coming as Santa Claus? What are you doing there? Yeah, it's good times, man. You know, gotta say, going back to raving 100% was the best thing, because you know, YouTube online is nice, but you can't have that as the only thing in your life. You've got to be. I know that there's a lot of people on YouTube who've got channels, and they would find going into a room and talking to strangers absolutely terrifying, and I completely understand that. But you've got to have human social contact in life. It's very, very, very important. And in an era where technology is better than ever, yet you know, when's the last time you actually called somebody as opposed to leaving them a voice note on WhatsApp? Do you know what I mean?
Right?
Like, yeah.
Now the separation between people is so bad.
Yeah, it is. I hate that. I'd much rather speak to someone on the phone every time. Yeah. So by the way, Kitty, did you come to this channel through that scene? Because I know quite a few people have. So if you have, let me know. Yeah. So Drew can't dance for more than half a minute due to medical problem. Well, that's fair enough. I've got lots of friends who can't for the same reasons. Lance, right now, dancing is a good way to find oneself. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. So that's no problem. We won't be going for that much longer, but don't forget, Kitty, these streams stay on the channel, so you can always come back and you can watch them later. They will stay here. Yes, depends though. Were you on when I was talking about that YouTube channel, the Soft White Underbelly channel?
Yeah.
Have you seen that? That channel, man, is mind-blowing. I mean, it's have you watched any of the interviews on it?
See, I'd said that I'd seen some previously on other channels and stuff, yeah, but I haven't watched anything since then. Mostly been watching like crazy conspiracy theory videos about Antarctica, and what else? I watched Worst Roommate Ever. Watched a bunch of trash lately. It's been good.
Give me 2 secs to dash to the bathroom, so you carry on for a sec.
Okay, well,
So what's going on in Antarctica?
well, the Antarctica is basically surrounded by a giant ice wall that the military knows about. There's also secret bases all over Antarctica and pyramids and stuff. But apparently, instead of the flat Earth theory, the new one is the crater Earth theory. That the Earth is actually a crater in a much larger sphere that we don't know about, or we're not permitted to know about. And each other crater in this massive planet represents like a whole nother world of continents that the elite know about and don't want us to know. It's where the reptile people live.
Dude, some of the shit people come up with is absurd.
I mean, at this point, I mean,
I feel like they're just making up like the most absurd shit just to see what people will believe, and then they just keep pushing it further and further.
Are we still talking about Antarctica?
Apparently, the Earth is living. Apparently, we're living in a crater that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah,
I've never seen the edges.
It's like the next step beyond flat Earth theory. It's like the hot new everything's a lie conspiracy theory.
Yeah, not only are we not a sphere, apparently we're in a hole.
Yeah,
I didn't know this.
Yeah, so it's like flat Earth, except it's more like a concaved Earth kind of thing.
Where did this originate?
I made it up just now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna check out that Star Trek thing that Drinker told me about.
Oh yeah, I saw that randomly and didn't even know what the hell I was looking at. I was like, "What is this? It's fan field?" But it's got William Shatner's name all over it, so I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, it's not canon anymore. It's fanon. That's critical. What's his name? Comics Matter just said that on his video. Like, basically, the fear of AI. It's like, get over it because it's coming. And the idea that Hollywood is starting to embrace it, at least in the special effects department, it's a good thing. Maybe it shouldn't take tens to hundreds of computer animators with like thousands of computing hours rendering stuff to make special effects. I mean, if you're using AI for the special effects, like you could come up with like 2 seasons of Game of Thrones or whatever big budget show like a year instead of a season every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
just get with the program, dude. It's coming. And yeah, when you watch the Kirk video, like it looks great. And same thing with that. What was that? We talked about that dumb movie Here. It was a disappointment, but yeah, the anti-aging effects on Tom Hanks and Ron Wright Penn was really good. And the reason why is because they use AI instead of animators, because they had tried it previously with other movies and it just didn't look right. But when you have an AI filter do it, it looks amazing for a fraction of the cost, a fraction of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense why people will go that way.
Yeah, I remember when the first AI started coming out, the first AI footage started coming out, and it was like explosions. Like that's going to be such an easy thing you could make with that stuff, and just various other little things. But yeah, based on that was like a year ago. Like how far it's come since then is like scary.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I'll check it out when we wrap this up. But yeah, it looks pretty good, and want to watch the Rogue Elements thing, which Drinker had, I think he showed it at the Grand Rapids. So I don't know what is the Grand Rapids. Is that like a big?
It's a Comic-Con.
It's another big Comic-Con, right? And that's So is that near Niagara Falls or something like that? Or
yeah, it's in Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the good side of the border.
Right.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
Are you Canadian?
No, I'm over in Seattle.
God bless it.
And how is it living there?
Getting rained on for about 11 hours a day.
Is it raining? I was going to joke. Is it raining right now? And it is.
Yeah, it's raining. It's raining a lot, and I work outside, so
it like rains like, was it 75% of the time or something in a given year? Is that right?
No, that's pretty exaggerated. It's about 50-50 at this point.
It's pretty overcast all the time. I know people have like depression.
Not during the summer.
Good.
Not during the summer. The summers have been pretty toasty over here lately. But yeah. No, nowadays everybody's depressed because they stay inside, which is just absurd.
Yeah. Well, As long as you're taking vitamin D supplements while you're doing it, I guess. Ugh.
Yeah.
What did I read
The-
today? Hang on. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see. I read this earlier today. It was good. Here we go. Spring, depressed in a hopeful way. Summer, depressed in a manic way. Fall, depressed in a nostalgic way. And winter, depressed in a depressed way.
Oh man. That's that doesn't sound so good.
No.
Enzo, did you see the Cindy Pickett interview I did yet? You watched
Have
it
not. But yeah,
Do
based
it.
on what I've heard, I'm done to check that out for sure.
Yeah, I mean we so there was one point where it was quite funny. She said she had an affair with a guy who was playing the lead in Jesus Christ Superstar, and my stomach dropped.
That gave me a great laugh.
My birth father was the lead in Jesus Christ Superstar.
My old band Toast used to cover a couple songs from that show, that musical. We used to do the one that Judas sings. Jesus Christ. What's that song called? I can't remember. It's a good one. It's a lot of time signatures.
There's a few good songs in that.
Yeah, that was a dun 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 dun. Yeah, still know it.
Oh, that reminds me, because Greg Moss is an actor, I believe, in Australia, a friend of Gary Bolter's. I'm doing a forward for an Australian writer who's got a book coming out. It's a guide of the TV show Thunderbirds, and I'm doing the forward for him. So
cool.
Yeah. So there you go.
Can't help but notice that 34 degrees Celsius is 93 degrees Fahrenheit, which out here in Texas, man, that's a cool spring summer day.
Oh God. I remember the first time I went to Texas, I landed in Austin at around midnight.
Oh yeah.
Stepped outside the airport and immediately started sweating from every pore in my body.
It'll be like 90 degrees at night.
It was midnight. And I was like, oh my God, this is as cold as it's gonna get.
The worst is like places like Fort Worth and other places where you'll have like it'll be 90 degrees and like 98% humidity by like 7 a.m. It's like, dude, stop that.
No, here at the minute, it's snowing in most parts of the country. It's -2 in London.
Yeah, it's cold here now in Austin. I'm in Austin right now.
Yeah, really cold.
I think it's like 40. It was like 44 degrees last night for some reason.
It depends. So, do you watch the What We Do in the Shadows TV series?
I haven't seen the last couple seasons, but yeah, it's a funny show. It's a great movie too.
So season 6 is out. I've been watching it, and it did occur to me that like you look a bit like one of the lead guys in that.
Matt Berry.
Yeah, you do. You got
Lance.
a bit of a
LT tells me that I'm like the Texas Matt Berry all the time.
Yeah, I think that's good. Well, next
just need to talk like this more. See, yeah.
I think. Do you know what? You should do a whole episode of the Nielsen ratings where you actually do that voice.
It would be great. Not too difficult, but yes, sure.
It can be a little difficult just to like keep going with it, like subconsciously. Eventually, you kind of get out of it.
It's all about the pronunciation.
Yeah, Matt Berry, when he does that character, he deliberately sort of over-enunciates absolutely everything. Like he's playing him like he's sort of like a posh wannabe actor. It's Kitty is in Hamburg. Do you know what? Funnily enough, I'm due to go there in the not too distant future. So hey, if you want to show me around, let me know. But I love this show. I think it's really good, and I've just watched 5.5 episodes of the latest season. I think there's only 6. So I've got half an episode to go, as far as I know. But yeah, I really liked it, and I'm a big fan of the original movie as well. But they've done well with the TV show. At first, I wasn't sure, how great it was going to be, but it's really good, and I do like Matt Berry. He is very funny in this. So the guy who plays the energy vampire, Colin.
Yeah.
They don't just call him Colin. They call him Colin Robinson all the time. This is both his names. Yeah. You a fan, Proctophile, of the show?
I have not seen it.
It's good. Did you see the movie?
No, I haven't.
Watch the movie.
Watch the movie. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out.
What's crazy
Yeah,
is when the show came out, I remember thinking the show sounded like a lame cash grab of a very popular movie, and the show is up on par, if not better than the movie, which is rare.
No, it's good. The first season it was finding its feet a bit, but yeah, it's good, and some of the characters.
Also, it's a totally new cast of characters in a totally new setting, but it's just like more vampires in this weird vampire world. And then at one point, the previous vampires from the movie show up on the show, and in one of the first seasons or second seasons. It's great.
That was good. That was good. I really did like that. So,
Nice.
Kitty, I thought you were going to sleep, but you're still hanging out. You're probably
because you told her that we were going to wrap up soon, so she figured, well, I'll stay up a few more minutes, right?
Typing from beneath the covers. So I'm back on tomorrow. I'm back on tomorrow night, earlier than this, 8:00 UK time. So that'd be about 4 hours earlier than right now.
Friday.
Friday. It's 22nd of November. Now, 10 years ago, tomorrow was the screening of my feature film, The Journey. And I think, I don't know how I feel about that. I sort of look back. That was one of any film director will tell you if they have a proper film premiere for a movie that they're reasonably proud of. Had a lot of problems, the film, but it is. You look back, and it's one of the happiest days of your life. And I remember specifically that I made sure I called, who was then my wife, to come down and sort of join the cast and crew for the bows and sort of the Q&A and all of that, because without her, and there's no way I would have ever even finished that movie. So her support was crucial in it being completed. Now, of course, we're not together, don't even have any contact. This is just really weird how your life can massively change in that period of time,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. But anyway, so tomorrow we're not talking about that on the channel. We're talking about the other anniversary, which is the JFK assassination, and this film in particular, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. At the time, it was largely derided for being sort of a bit of a. Oliver Stone was accused of being a fantasist. Now, with a lot of stuff that's come out since, a lot of the theories that he advanced have been proven to be quite probable. Some of them true. Certainly, the position of the rifles and things like that. And, yeah, sorry.
Well, what's funny is as I've gotten older, I've come along to the whole, maybe it was one lone gunman type thing. But the new theory is that it was the Secret Service driver was the one who did it. So
no, that's not. I mean, yeah, he reacted poorly because he slowed the car down.
No, he literally turns around with a handgun and pops JFK in the head.
Oh no, that's definitely
truth will be revealed, Lance.
I think Governor Connolly probably would have noticed that.
Who's your favorite cameo in the JFK movie?
Oh, now Kevin Bacon is up there because he just is brilliant in that sort of the gay hustler role.
I like John Candy is the other guy.
John Candy's great. Laura San Giacomo.
I think Donald Sutherland's the best though, because that's the one that just turns the whole movie on its head. You're like, oh my god.
That scene is
Mr.
actually.
X.
I'll tell you what. Now that you've mentioned that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you before we wrap up. Famous last words. I'm going to show you the scene from my movie that was totally inspired by that scene with Donald Sutherland, and I always remember thinking, God, I want to do a scene like that where you've got somebody telling a story, and you're cutting to all these different shots of maybe what happened and symbolism and things of that nature, And when I was doing the rewrite of The Journey, because we had to do a massive rewrite about halfway through the film, I said to the Greek producers, I said, what was the most difficult event in Greece's history, in modern history? And they both said in unison, these two girls, they both said straight away, the shooting of Alexandros Grigoropoulos. And I was like, what's that? And they said, well, there's this place in Athens called Zarthia, which is a no-go zone for the police, right? Because of this shooting. And this group of kids were, you know, just kind of doing their thing, hanging out, not doing anything illegal or anything like that. And there were two undercover plainclothes police who were off duty, who were armed. And they came into Zarthia, and these kids like mouthed off to them a bit. And one of them pulled out a pistol and fired at the kids, and to kind of scare them. But one of the rounds ricocheted off the floor, went through this kid's stomach and killed him. And unfortunately for the police, these kids were this kid that died. He was the son of a really quite well-known, powerful family. And what happened was, you didn't just get riots in the capital of Athens. They exploded across the whole country as a result of this one event. And it kind of brought out all this stuff about hatred. And because the police in Greece, what you need to understand about the police in Greece is they're really hated by the people. They really are hated. And they've got a terrible reputation. And we saw stuff when we were out there shooting the movie. This is part of the sequence. I won't show you the whole thing because it's quite a long scene, but you'll see how this leans into the Donald Sutherland JFK.
Why? What did he do?
Who can really say? They were having a bad day, apparently.
Even the music
there was
is
a
similar.
confrontation between a group of youth, two off-duty policemen. They were ordered to go back to the station. They came across a second group of youths, among them Alexandros. They say that
Right, those boys that were in that shot. Oh, I accidentally skipped there.
Why?
So those kids, right? This is going to blow your mind. So the two kids in that shot, there's an actor playing Alexandros Grigoropoulos, but the other two boys were the two boys who were there when he was shot, and they were the first ones to his body. Wow. And then we went back and we filmed it in exactly the same place. We recreated it in the same place where he got killed. And we had those two kids with us. And if those two kids hadn't been with us, we would have got lynched, because there were these people that, you know, they wanted to know who were we, what were we doing. So this kid is an actor who played Grigoropoulos, really great actor from this local drama school in Greece. And the other two kids were not at the drama school. They were friends of,
second group of
the actual.
Among them,
kid.
Alexandros. They say they were threatening. They say they fired.
That's wild.
They say one was a ricochet and hit him accidentally.
That's the actual spot.
Is that really what happened?
Where we put the
Not
body on the
according to other
floor.
witnesses. They say the attack was completely unprovoked and the boys did nothing. That the police went over and started the incidents. Many others in the country seem to agree. Protests started in Athens and soon spread all over Greece. Those who did not want to think about it thought it would subside, but soon there were protests in schools, universities, everywhere. Other political parties also used it as an excuse to get involved. A week later, there were still protests outside police stations all over Greece. The protests carried on right through Christmas and into January. Let me tell you something, my friend, and maybe my people would not all agree, but the death of that boy and the reaction that followed became one voice crying out against everything that is wrong in my country. It showed us that there was a sickness waiting to take root. For the first time, it wasn't just the usual suspects, the extremists or the anarchists. There were mothers and daughters, sons and fathers, all standing side by side. Even friends of mine were there. They weren't just angry at the police, but at the government who had let them down with their endless incompetence and corruption, full of broken promises. Everyone cried out, and for just a moment, it seemed like things would change.
Yeah, so you can.
But the change?
You can see how that really lent into that scene from JFK. I totally copied the style, the music, everything. So yeah. And a lot of that footage that we got. So here's the thing, right? We were filming in Zarthia, and then we went back into the city centre, and suddenly we see all these riot police, like this debussing from these coaches, and there was a you know those open top tour buses. You get them in every capital city. You go on, you can hop on, you can hop off them. and you go and sit up the top, and there's usually somebody talking about local landmarks and shit. One of them was just about to leave, and I went to the camera guy, let's get on this. And we got up and we went up to the top, and that's how we got all those shots of some of this stuff is news footage, but a lot of the shots we got of the riot police and stuff was actually we were there, you know. And we were sitting on top of this tourist bus, and of course, because it was a tourist bus, no one paid any attention to us with our cameras and everything, and we got loads of great shots sitting on the bus. So, and for anyone that's interested, that's watching, you can watch the whole movie on my YouTube channel completely for free. It's there. If you like the film, come back on and buy a super chat, because this film cost me $50,000 to make, and I've made almost nothing from the movie. So I'm back to pretty much have made nothing, and that's a story I'll tell you another time. But yeah, so and the actor who Dimitri Rastapopoulos, who was doing that speech was about twice as long in the original script, but I cut it right down. we gave him like we built him a sound box, and we got him to run the speech in that when we were filming on the island, so that we had a version of it that we could use. Because when we were doing the reverse shots for this day, you can see it was like really windy, so we couldn't record any sound then, but we got all these shots from behind of the two of them walking, so we had safety shots to cover any sound issues that we had, and then we had a completely clean recording of the whole speech. And they did I think only about 2 or 3 takes of this, and he was rehearsing it non-stop for 2 days before we did that shot. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, thanks, Darth. Watch the journey. So, writer, dancer, and filmmaker. It's all creative. It's all creative stuff. It's all in the same. It's all in the same realm, you know.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, right. Well, I'll probably wrap it up there, I think. I know it depends how you've got to drive, haven't you, somewhere? In fact, he's packing his car now. He's not even listening.
Just topping off my water glass. Yeah. I'm gonna hit the road in a bit. I'm gonna go hit up Wiener Schnitzel before I do, though. I'm gonna get like $10 worth of chili cheese dogs. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, dude, man!
Nice.
Now you're making me hungry. That's
I know Wiener Schnitzel's gross, but I grew up eating it, so it's like a nostalgia thing for me. But yeah, it's cheap chili dogs. What do you expect?
So I'm just going to plug the other things that we got coming up before I sign off. We have, as I said, we've got the JFK stream tomorrow, of course. My next industry interview is also not very far away. It's on Tuesday with 2 lovely, awesome female DJs. So we've got Adele and Daya coming on, and Charmin Love. So Adele is a very well-known trance DJ in the UK. She's at the top of her game. Charmin is just starting out. So I thought this is very much what the channel is about. I asked Adele, would you mind if a young DJ comes on and we can have her kind of ask you questions and stuff? And she's just beginning in Brighton. She's doing a few gigs. And Adele was totally up for it. So I've got the 2 of them coming on. One who's very experienced, one who's, you know, been going just for a couple of years. And,
nice. That's very kind of her.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what the channel's about. It's about, you know, supporting new creatives. So by getting Charmin on with Adele, we're supporting both of them, but you've got that old and new thing. So I think you're talking about a track. There's a track with that name, Arashi, and no, there is a track called that. It's a trance track. I've seen it. But I don't know whether she plays that in her set. Film that always gets ripped off by hit directors but never gets any credit is Tetsuo 2 Body Hammer. I remember Tetsuo Man of Iron. God, that is a nuts bonkers movie. I do remember them ripping that off in Doctor Who. You're absolutely right. Yeah, so all right, so that's it from me. Don't forget to check out the Proctor Files channel, as I mentioned earlier. Me and Stepenzo will be back on together on Tuesday. After my industry interview, we've got the Nielsen ratings next Tuesday as well. So don't forget about that. But that's it from us. Thanks for coming on this rather spontaneous stream. The book will be available soon. As soon as the book is out, there will be links everywhere. I do need your support, guys. So the more support you can give me on the book, the better. If you like films and you went to the cinema a lot, particularly in the 80s and 90s, you're going to love it.
Of course.
Until then, we'll see you soon.
He's creative, we're creative. How about you? Share your passion, join the crew. At Outcasts Creative, we're breaking through. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Interviews with fellow artists on the rise and reviews that might surprise. Films, TV shows from back in the day. You might just find a hidden gem today. He's creative, we're creative. How about you? Share your passion, join the crew. At Outcasts Creative, we're breaking through. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew.
Oh.